Hey Manush.
Hello.
Hi. So I have a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
So what is AVC costing and why we use this method?
Okay, so basically, ABC costing is means earlier what the manufacturing or manufacturing industry used to do is that whenever they are manufacturing any product, so they used to take labor hours or machine hours, and they calculate the product cost based on that factor, and they are just spreading the product cost equally, means total cost equally over all the product, but that is not a right way to do. So that's why ABC costing concept come ahead, and according to this costing, it's a method that help a business to figure out the real cost of making the product and providing a services, and instead of just dividing the total cost equally between all the product. So come to the screen, I will explain in the details and provide you the exam tips and what the things that you need to understand for this costing. Come to the screen, I will show you. Hello everyone, so welcome back to my channel Manu Issue ACCA classes, and in today's video I have simplified the concept of ABC costing. So it's very it's one of the topic from the PM F5, and I have covered everything from the what you will be asked and the exam tips I have given, and what the things that you need to learn from this topic. Sorry. So in today video we will cover this thing. Okay, so we will cover the definition, why we use ABC, and the key steps in the ABC. And furthermore, we will also study advantage as well as disadvantage of ABC, and in the last I will provide the exam tip, what the thing that you need to remember from this topic. Alright, so let's move ahead. So as I mentioned at the start of this video regarding the ABC, so let's understand what is the ABC. Okay, so ABC is a costing method. It's one of the costing method, and that allocates overhead based on the activity causing the cost, rather than the using broad methods like labor hours or machine hours. So let's understand, let's go the back before the concept of ABC. So in our traditional method of costing, costing method, like earlier what we used to do is, earlier the in manufacturing industry or in the service industry, earlier labor was used mostly, especially in the manufacturing industry. So many labor are used to produce the product. That's why labor hours seems to be very high. And suppose if same labor is producing the different kind of product, in that case we simply took the labor hours and divide our overhead cost, and allocating the that overhead cost equally to all the product. But that not seems to be feasible in the today or modern time, because the labor has been replaced by the machinery, right? So lots of work is done by the machine rather than the labor, and that's why basically for the overhead cost is one of the indirect costs. You know about this. This is a very basic concept that we have learned in the F2 management accounting, so I'm not going to touch about what the direct cost, what the indirect one. Let's simply learn about overhead cost. Like if we are producing any product, we have a certain overhead cost that's very difficult to allocate to the product, right? And in our previous time, where there was no machine, where lots of work is done by the labor, that time what we used to do is we simply took the labor hour and divide with the total overhead cost, and we're simply allocating the cost equally to all the product. But in today time, you will see lots of work, labor work has been replaced by the machinery, and that's why machine hours seems to be high. But Again, we are doing the same thing. We are simply allocating the overhead cost equally by dividing with the machine hour, and we are simply allocating a cost equally to all the product. But again, that's not a feasible way. So that's why ABC costing, what happened due to that, if any product that have used the machine hour less, they have been like allocated the more cost, which is unfair, right? So that's why ABC costing concept comes ahead, and it's one of the costing method. And here we will allocate those overhead costs based on the activities that are that lead to generate those costs, that are the trigger point that leads to increase the cost. Okay, so we are not going to allocate this overhead based on the like labor hours or machine hour that we are doing earlier. Okay, so that's why the ABC concept have come ahead. So again, why ABC? As I said, we are using the traditional costing method, where we are allocating the cost based on the machine hours, labor hours, right? So due to which some product, that have used the labor hours or machine hour very minimum, but though their costs are so high, that's unfair. So traditional costing can distort the cost by over or under allocating the overheads, whereas ABC provides accurate cost allocation by linking overhead to specific activities. So if we talk about the reason for development of ABC costing, there could be many more. Like one, I have already said, it increased the overhead cost, because in traditional costing become less effective as the business saw a significant rise in the indirect cost due to automation and advanced technology. And so ABC allocate this cost more accurately. That's why ABC could be the one of the reason. Okay, and other is a product diversity, because in one machine we produce a lots of product, like different type of product. So business started producing a variety of product, making it hard for traditional method to allocate overhead fairly. So ABC resolved this issue by assigning the cost based on the actual consumption of the resources. Okay, so and other could be the if the business is focused on the cost control, so in that case manager need to have a better insight into which activity were driving the cost, to identify the inefficiency and control expenses. In that case ABC comes ahead and play a major role. Okay, and again for the market competition, if we are having intense competition, force company to price product accurately to avoid overpricing or underpricing, ABC provides more reliable cost data. So these are the basically reason, or you can say you can say benefit of using ABC costing. There are many more, so I have just simply given you a overview. Okay, so now in ABC what we will do? So first step is to identify the activity. So simply list down all those activity that are that is creating the cost, that is increasing your cost. Like it could be machine setup, quality check. Suppose to manufacture the product, and so to manufacture the product you are setting off machine for the 3 times that are generating the cost. That could be the activities or quality checks, and after that you have to assign the cost to the activity. So you have to use cost pool. So cost pool means you have to group the cost of similar nature into the one pool. Okay, so in later slide we will discuss about the cost pool and cost driver. Okay, and then we have to determine the cost driver that lead to trigger those cost pool, means that are leading to create those cost. So we need to create the we need to find out the cost driver. Suppose I have here noted down the $10,000 as a cost pool, and this cost is related to the machine setup. So what could be the cost driver? So obviously the number of setup. Okay, so here we have to find the cost driver. Then we have to calculate cost per unit of driver, or you can say OAR, absorption rate. Okay, overhead absorption rate basically. So in here what we will simply do, we will take a cost pool, means total cost or overhead cost, and divide it by the respective cost driver. Okay, and then later on we will got our OAR, and we will simply multiply the cost per driver by driver uses per product. Example, if product A have a 5 setup and our OAR or cost per unit of driver is 20, we will simply multiply by 20 into 5 and we will get the 100. So these are the key steps you need to learn or need to understand, because obviously if the question asks in the long one, in section C, you need to do this following step. Okay, and then next we have, okay, so cost driver and the cost pool. Sometimes they may ask a definition like in the fill the blanks, or they will ask which one is the correct regarding the definition of these two. So you need to identify the same. Okay, so what the cost pool, as I said, we will simply group a similar nature of the cost into the one pool. Like we will make a set of the similar nature of the cost. So cost pool is a group of related costs that are accumulated for a specific activity or the function within the business. Okay, and similarly for the cost driver, so it will be the factor or it will be the trigger point that will lead to generate those cost pool. Okay, so it will influence the cost pool. So what will be the advantage, as I have discussed earlier when we are discussing the reason for the ABC costing. So obviously as now the business has been automated, we are using the advanced technology. In that case, indirect cost means overhead cost are more as comparison to the direct one. And if we use a traditional costing, we might charge some product over or some product under, right? So that's why ABC allocate this cost more accurately, so better cost allocation for decision making, right? And again, if the business is focused on the cost controls, manager need to have a better insight into which activity we're driving cost. So identify the those activity that are increasing the cost and focus on those activity by taking a step to reduce the wastage. Okay, and last, it will also help to improve the pricing. Obviously as intense, we know there are intense competition in the market. So if we will have a more cost of our product, in that case we will in case of more competition in the market, we need to reduce our price of the product, right? So if we will choose ABC costing, our product will be we will calculate the cost of product accurately, and so we will charge the margin based on the market rate. Okay. Okay, so now coming to the disadvantage of ABC. See, they could ask you to explain the advantage or disadvantage of the ABC. Based on the scenario, you need to explain the same. So let's understand the disadvantage of ABC. So obviously in ABC, we need to find out the cost pool, especially the cost driver, and finding out the cost driver may be the time consuming or costly task. So it may increase your complexity or time to find out the cost driver in order to allocate the cost. And exactly, it's not useful for all the business. If it is small firm with fewer overhead, this costing may not be applicable. So if in the exam they provide you the scenario like ABC company is very small one and running this business, and they are trying to find out use the ABC costing. So in case they have asked a disadvantage, you need to use your scenario that that firm is very small, and they will use this costing, it might increase their time cost. So you have to use the scenario in order to explain the advantage and disadvantage of the ABC costing. Okay, so now exam tips. So what you have to learn from this topic, or what you need to have a good grip, you need to understand the calculation of overhead allocation. You need to know the when ABC is better than the traditional costing, and be prepared to discuss the benefit and the drawback of the same. Practice past question on the ABC allocation and the interpretation. Okay, so that's all. Thank you so much. And if you want a real example of ABC costing, let me explain with a real example. So imagine your company is like a pizza shop who makes a lots of pizza, and but each one needs a different topping, timing, and effort. So here how ABC costing work. So if we use traditional one costing, so one size fits all, right? So you decide all pizza cost the same to make because we use oven for all of them. But wait, make a plain cheese pizza versus if you are loading extra topping materials on the pizza, that's unfair, right? To charge the equal cost to both of them, right? So if we use ABC costing, so we have to think what activity do we do. Example, we are chopping the veg, baking, delivering, and what makes this activity expensive? The cost driver, right? So like number of topping or delivery distance. And okay, so the cheese pizza needs just a quick bake. However, extra topping one, and we can say deluxe pizza, extra chopping, more baking, careful handling, so it will increase our higher cost. So we have to charge more cost for the deluxe pizza. So that's why as comparison to the normal or simple plain cheese pizza. So this is how ABC costing is used. You need to decide the cost pool and the factor that are triggering that leads to increase in the cost pool. Okay, so I hope this video is useful, and thank you so much guys for watching my video. And if you like, please share, subscribe, and don't forget to hit the bell icon. So thank you so much. Have a good day. Bye.